Hello, John Liu here, Flow Ninja, creator of Flow Studio. Today I want to cover an advanced technique in managing flows copied across many SharePoint sites. So I have a flow that's created for a SharePoint approval, and it is triggered by a SharePoint update or modified inside the site in DevJohn. So that's where I build my workflows in a dev environment, in the dev site. In documents, there's a variable here, we'll come back to that. I'm creating an approval for this document. This is fairly standard. I want the URL to the file, and then I wanted the name that I'm assigned to in here as a variable. Okay, so it'll be assigned to me. I'm doing a little bit extra. So an approval creates an adaptive car, but the adaptive car has these approve and reject buttons. You can't really use them from Teams. So I removed them using this quick formula, remove the actions from the adaptive car. And then I post the car to Teams anyways. And so you see here, I'm sending it to Team Dev John, which is parallel to here, Dev John, and in the general channel, and I will send the card in as a message. And then I'll wait for a response. So that is the flow. Let me pop over to Dev John. Say if I go in general channel, let me upload a file. This is a nice one. And when this is uploaded, the flow will run. If we come back here, the flow will run. It's just started. It switched runs so quite quickly. So this is the file that was uploaded. Hello. It's created an approval with this sequence. Posted as a card to the Teams, and then it's waiting on the approval. If we have a quick look at a few places in Teams, we will see there is a new flow bot with a message. The link is that. I need to fix this link better. That would be nicer. And then the approval center as well. So if we look at the approval center, it's probably a bunch of approvals. Probably that one. Oh, that one, sorry, that one. Yeah, so that's the file. Right. So with Flow Studio, what we can with the new feature in Flow Studio, we have this ability to migrate a flow. We used to call this deploy, but it's more appropriate to call migrate because you can use it to make a flow go from one SharePoint site to multiple SharePoint sites. You can also use it to take a flow from a flow development environment and put that into a flow production environment. So it could cross environments in flow. Let's create a new one. We'll call it cross. Save that plan. And we will say we'll take from our default environment, which is where we work, into the demo environment. That's where I plan to show the demo. Flow Studio will go and read both environments, and it will read all the flows and it will read all the connections in each environment. Let's save that. We want the template. So the template, that's the one that we built. And here, let's just make a copy. Let's say I want to deploy this to my site called Funky. So SharePoint Funky. What's the URL? Yep, so this is Funky. You'll find I have several sites named Funky. Yep. No, so Flow Studio file approved Funky. Okay, you can just type a new name, add that, and this is going to create a new flow. Having a look. So when Flow Studio reads the original definition, it will go through and pick out all the connections, and then it will pick out things like URLs, GUIDs, and variables. So you see the variable name that was created earlier. For the destination, these connections won't work, so you gotta click them and basically pick the connection that's available on the destination. So they might look the same, but they're actually objects related to this destination environment. So do all that, and if I save this plan, and then so let's just show you how that works. So currently I haven't replaced anything, so if I just run it, start, and it will finish fairly quickly. It will reread the destination. Give it a sec. So what that's done after a short refresh is the new flow has been created in the destination environment, and it's been set up with these connections. And whenever we create a new flow, it creates them as disabled. So the idea is that Flow Studio could potentially generate hundreds of flow for you. So we don't want them to run automatically and trigger right away. We want you, the maker, to go and check and make sure they're okay, and then you turn it on. But if the destination, and once it's deployed first time, this is now a flow in the destination environment. If I click through and show you, this is the FS demo environment. You see the flow and you see the connections are all set up. Okay, so that's in the funky side. That's the name, funky. And once it's been created, if we were to say come here and say, oh, turn that on, then next time we deploy, I will show you. See, because the file proof has been turned on, so when we update the flow, it will remain started. Okay, so if it's an existing flow and it's on, then Flow Studio will keep it on. If it's off, then it will stay off. That's the idea. So we want to do a few more here. We want this to go to so to change the site from our dev John to funky, we need to know the GUID of the list. And let's come back here and quickly show you. So this is the original flow. This is a template. And we see here we have the dev John, and then we have documents. If we go into peak code, you will see there is the URL, and then there is the list GUID. That's the list GUID for each SharePoint list. Unfortunately, it would be really nice to be able to use variables here, but unfortunately, because variables can be defined only inside, like they can be defined above the trigger, so you can't use variables inside the trigger here. So we need to know at least this one. Okay, and let's pop that into a notepad somewhere. We'll know that, and let's just copy that out as well. So that's our definition. Let's quickly do another check. If I pick funky, you see the GUID appears as a custom value because it no longer matches any list library inside the funky site. So if we clear that and pick documents and do a pick code, we can quickly see, okay, the URL is here, and then the code is here. So there are various ways to get the list GUID. This is a quick, simple way. So let's not save this. Let's leave without saving, and then let's come back to Flow Studio. So what we want to do here then is we want to say for that site, we want to take it to that URL, and for the list GUID, this one, we want to take it to that. Okay, so save that plan and then run it. And if we come back and look at this again, so this is the approve funky, which is now on. If we go in and have a look at this flow, see how it's linked to funky with the document. So if you look at the peak code, that's exactly what it's done. Finally, I want to show a few more pieces here. In the flow, and slightly more advanced recording, in the flow, we have this posted to the team. And so the next part, we want to post this little message to our Teams channel. And in this action, we have Dev John. So that is the original Teams for the first SharePoint site. And we want to send that to a channel. Again, we can use the same technique and say, well, let's look at the code. And there is a group ID. So this is the Office 365 group. Again, it's a GUID. So Visual Studio does pick that up. And then there is this channel ID. And these are names. This is the ID of that general channel that the flow action posts to. Now that is not a variable that is picked up by Flow Studio. So in here, it's possible for us to say, add another new row. I want to see this, replace it with something else. Okay, I'll just leave it blank for a bit. So this is the second GUID, and that's the name. Now, when writing our flows, so let's do this. Let's add another action. Let's add another variable. And we'll call that the initialize group ID. So let's call that the group ID. And then we'll give code a string. It's actually a GUID. And oops, so this it's this GUID. Rather than hard code the general, it's better to do it this way. You say get teams list channels, and we need a team ID. So let's use the variable. Use the variable, which is a group ID, and that will give us the name, all the channels available to that group. And then if we say to filter the channel list where the channel name is equal to general, and let's do a compose here. That I want the channel ID, so I want the ID name of it. Now, because that's in a loop, it's gonna do this. It's gonna put in the for each. That's okay. Do not show that again. Copy that. So it's actually just called the ID. Okay. So let's repeat code. We want the ID. We want just the ID. So let's do a bit of surgery on this. We want the first of the array. That's all we want. So we want the channel ID from the first record after the filter array, which means that we should have the correct ID. We won't need this. So we did that purely to find out what's the name of that property. Then in the adaptive car here, we should be able to say replace that with the channel ID and replace that with the group ID. Okay, so those two become that is a variable dependent on that one, and that one is set in here, the group ID. Okay. Let's save that, and then let's just show you how that will work. That's gonna create a approval. See how it's listing the channels available to me. There's general in here. It is doing a filter array. So when there's multiple channels, we only want the general, and see how the ID is here. And the compose pulls out the ID and then the card. So as far as the card is concerned, the same card is still sent through to that channel and that team. But what it does is this flow is more parameterized in that we don't have to configure a lot of things to do with which channel or which team to send the card to. It's all hinged on this group ID. Right. And back to Flow Studio as we wrap it up. Let's run the wizard again, and it will pick up the new variable. We don't need the channel because that's calculated, so we can remove that. We can send it to a different email, and we can send that to a different group as well. So that's it won't need that anymore because that's not picked up. So we better delete that. Okay, so that is the group ID. So the group ID and the owner, we can set it at those two levels. Then we don't need to actually configure the teams. So in general, my advice is parameterize things in your flow, put them into variables. Flow Studio Migrate could see them and help you change the value, the default value that go into them. So that will be it will reduce the amount of replacements that you need to fill out in the deployment wizard. It will reduce the number of variables or hard-coded GUIDs that you need to do in the migration wizard. So as much as you can parameterize, it will be better. And that is Flow Studio Migrate. It is designed to help you create copies of your one template flow and then keep them up to date. But there is some advanced technique on the flow side to make it simpler for this wizard to work. So hope you enjoyed this one, and let me know what do you think of Flow Studio Migrate. Give me any of your feedback, and like and subscribe my channel please as well. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.